K-pop threads, 2831. Basically just about kind of the K-pop thread having, space 30 to 70 active unique posters at a time, and one of the more popular threads on MU, and kind of being relocated. I think you guys were in HR or something. Maybe were you guys on BG at some point? But again, you guys are an example. Again, it is unfortunate. I mean, 4chan was not designed to accommodate threads such as kind of the K-pop general, in that it's a recurring topic, but it's really functions mostly as a chat room for a group of people, centered around a topic, which is K-pop. But when you look at this and you look at basically the StarCraft 2 general on VG, and they really end up being chat rooms. I mean, 4chan, again, not a chat room, but people want to use it that way. And at a certain point, it just becomes a losing battle for us to try to change that. So I think if you keep it to that thread, and I don't see the harm in kind of keeping it to one thread. I think, again, where people start to get frustrated is when you have a lot of threads kind of overwhelming the board that aren't about a specific topic and are really just kind of here's our little chat room about this kind of very broad subject, because people, the outsiders and people who aren't members of this thread kind of view that as kind of a circle jerk and kind of a waste. I think the limited retention, I think the archives kind of reduce some of this, the pain kind of here for other people, because yes, you're creating a thread, it's bumping an old thread off. Not the end of the world, though, now that you can very easily kind of go, but that thread, when it expires, you're not going to get redirected to a third-party archive. You can just go find an R archive, or you can just follow the link, or it'll still all the images and stuff there. So I the limited retention, but again, I really don't know what to do about this in this case. I mean, we never really figured out a solution for these types of threads. But I hope you can understand how, again, the greater community of your board and the greater 4chan community, when they see threads like this that are kind of recurring generals that really function more as chat rooms for a handful of people, and they see those threads essentially pushing off threads that they care about, which is very personal and very subjective. That's why people kind of come in and, as you said, kind of bully. So my guidance would be, if you keep it to one thread, then there's a lot less for others to complain about. $29.27. Why do you always wear a fucking gray sweatshirt? I've mixed it up. I have a black sweatshirt now. I mean, I don't. My wardrobe is so small. I have way more pants than I've ever had. I used to have one pair of jeans, then I had two pair of jeans, and now I have like maybe 4 pairs of pants, which is an all-time record for me. I own more than one pair of shoes. I have 2 pairs of sneakers now. I only really wear the one, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, clothes aren't that important to me. Sorry, FA. I just want to be comfortable, be comfy mode. So I have my hoodie and my jackets. The one good investment I made a few years ago is I actually bought winter jackets. I used to like roll around in hoodies all winter and be freezing all the time. So yes, my wardrobe is a little bit more is expanded, but it's still pretty functional. I mean, the clothes aren't right. I hate shopping, so. Okay, here we go. Here's where I guess I started, so I'm getting into this now. Let's see. Uh, 2954 kind of talks about over moderation. Again, it's so hard to find a happy medium with what people. I wrote about this in that news post in Full House. I've written about this on my personal blog. It's the Steve Pavlina post about why he shut down his forums that I kind of commented on. something from his article about that. He's like a motivational speaker of some kind, and just again making decisions that benefit the community at large. The rest of the board, these other threads, the entire 4chan community, the institution of 4chan, and I just don't. If you could explain to me a way that we could be very objective and please everybody, then please email it to me. Because I don't know how to do it. I certainly don't know. And I would love for you to share that with me if you have a better solution. I think that, to kind of explain the challenge from our side, it's how do you develop kind of bright line policies about what does and doesn't belong? I mean, most boards have a few rules. They can't really have more than a few rules because then nobody would really know what they are. Not that anybody reads them to begin with, right, or wants to adhere to them to begin with, but the board should have a few rules that kind of determine what's on topic and what's not, and then we try to apply those rules and adhere to those rules. And that's the real challenge. It's just how do you create a concise set of rules that are easy for the community to understand and rules that they agree with in principle, and then how do you enforce those rules fairly? And that ends up being, in the case of SP, I've had a lot of fun there. I loved the Superb Owl a few years ago with the power outage and the Flacco Bane image that we put up, and the Dark Knight music. And I was having so much fun. I was laughing hysterically, and that was a lot of fun for that one moment. But I think, and it kind of ruined the board for everybody who didn't care about the Super Bowl. But that's the challenge. Again, it was great for those of us who were having fun with the Superb Owl, and not probably so great for the people who weren't there for the Super Bowl. So, it's if you really want to talk about power rankings and potato chips all day, then again, there are people who do want to do that, and there are a lot of people who don't. And so, how do we establish rules that can be communicated and enforced and are fair and accepted by the community? It's really difficult, as it turns out. So, by all means, I very rarely, if ever, get really concrete kind of. Again, people inform me of a problem. They say this board sucks or your moderators suck, and then I go, well, okay. So what do I do with that? Again, how do I help me help you? So in the case of SP, it really just got to a point where, again, we had to draw these kind of bright line policies and say, again, if it's not about sports, then it's not on topic. And if it's not kind of going back to the V, primary, secondary, tertiary, it really has to be primary to secondary, and the tertiary stuff just has to go because SP is one of the more popular boards. It just was pushing off all of these legitimate threads about sports. And I know you guys have a kind of a quote unquote problem with generals, but again, what would you have us do? Delete them all? Then we're pissing off thousands of people. So there's really no easy answer to any of this. And so again, I hope that you understand why we tend to go for kind of the best fit line, or the solution that kind of makes the most people happy. And in the case of SP, we added ASB to kind of create more, more kind of land for these other topics that people were sometimes upset about seeing discussed on SP, like paintball or so martial arts and stuff like that, or threads that not even that people are upset about, but that if you basically couldn't last because they just get pushed off. 2978. Now that the king has stepped down, don't you think that it would be a good idea if we move towards a more democratic system? Mods could be elected to serve year-long terms or so. This is to ensure that only the best monitors are on the site, and we can avoid some of the corruption that has appeared. Okay, again, I don't agree with that, but it has appeared from time to time again. It would also bind us together and remove a lot of the infighting, since we'll feel more like a committee. So again, I think you're assuming one is that 4chaners can agree on anything, which is they can't. And it's not 4chaners. It's just like nobody can agree on anything, right? Nobody in America can agree on. Nobody can agree on anything. It's very hard to kind of find consensus. And I did think a lot about kind of more of a Wikipedia model and doing more of that kind of user governance. But Wikipedia has a shit. Oh my God, have you ever seen like the Wikipedia? It's insufferable. It's hard. And a lot of articles have been written to the effect of Wikipedia is a dying community now because they have very few editors left, because they've alienated essentially an entire generation of editors, and people kind of take it for granted and don't want to be involved in the governance. And the people that do are kind of motivated for the wrong reasons. It really